Hi everyone, good evening from here. Welcome to Simply Chizzy. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Chizzy. God bless you for tuning in. I am glad to grace your screen once again. Like the ancient people that we are, you know, whenever Mazi calls us ancient people, whenever he uses the word ancient, Ndibo, people don't seem to understand him. This evening, I would like us to interact as usual. Just like so many of us must have listened to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast of today, his morning interactive Friday broadcast, today being 4th September 2020. Something unique happened today in that program. Today's program, interactive program, was a very, very exceptional one. And I must commend the callers in today's program because they did wonderfully well. So, and today people actually asked important questions. Believe me, it was a very, very interesting interactive program. But something unique happened today during the program, and that was the issue of Biafra currency. Since after that broadcast, lots of people, some people have been debating on social media how the currency will look like and the name of that currency, because it was somebody that asked Mazi, what currency are we going to use when Biafra is restored? I'm going to play that part for you to listen now, and then I will continue with my commentary, okay? Just listen while I come back.
My name is Uchechukwu Enyinaya. I'm from Ohaji.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead. From India, go ahead.
Yeah. My question is, since the British came to our land and introduced currency that we are using today,
yes,
called pounds.
Yes.
Sterling.
Yes.
And before they came, I've already been using cowries.
Yes.
So if we get our freedom, are we going to use the same British currency, or are we going to introduce our cowries, which is ego iron?
No, we are going to be like every other person. We are going to have our own currency. It will not be called a pound. Isn't it very funny? It's a good thing, my dear sister, this point you raised. Isn't it very funny that the same people that hated us so much, Ojukwu actually pegged Biafran pound to the British pound, also called it pound as well. You see, can people now actually see the way that Britain ate into our brain? That even when they are killing us, we are still using their currency, pound. Unbelievable. That is to show the type of people we are. We are open-minded. Why Britain hates us is their business. Why Britain despises us is entirely up to them. I don't know. Now, to answer your question, we are going to go back to having our own currency. It won't be called pound. It won't be called dollar, but it will be pegged to the dollar, of course, because of exchange rate fluctuations and other, because of the likes of George Soros, people who speculate on currencies, people who run it down. They will come to you and tell you to devalue your currency because they've hedged their bet on your currency going down. That was how George Soros in one afternoon made £5 billion in front of our eyes. I saw it. Nobody told me. George Soros was not a very wealthy man before. This multi-billionaire now that is going all over the place playing God. George Soros was an ordinary currency trader in London. During the Black Wednesday, I think that was in 1990, I can't remember anymore, 1996 or 1997 in the UK, when Norman Lamont was the then Chancellor of the Exchequer. It was called the European Exchange Rate Mechanism. You know what they did? Britain said they will not be part of the ERM in Europe. In other words, the pound was allowed to float outside the ERM. And speculators led by George Soros, they got together to have a run on the pound. Do you know what they do? Currency speculators, It's ordinary gambling. Chacha Kahana, about gambling. George Soros put a lot of billions. He bet that this pound will be pushed out of the ERM. They told all their friends all over the world. They had a run on the pound. Everybody started to sell their pounds. That even if not for the intervention of Queen Elizabeth, who held a dinner with the Sultan of Brunei, the Sultan of Brunei wanted to pull out his investments in pound and put it in dollars. The Queen invited him for dinner, had dinner with him, and convinced him to leave his investments in pounds. That was what saved the pound. The pound was run out of the ERM. And because George Soros bet money on it, he was paid £5 billion as a result. That was when he became a billionaire. Now, listen to me very carefully. What we are going to do is this. We are going to have our own currency, but it's not going to be based on paper. We will try to minimize paper. The world has moved on. There are cashless transactions. Everybody will have their own card with which to make payments. All over the world, people are moving to cashless. Nobody carries cash anymore, but our own currency will be called Ejemma, which is the currency of the Asians. Ejemma, it will be called. No pound, no dollar, no nothing. We are who we are. Thank you very much.
That was the voice of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu responding to our brother's question on Biafran currency. You see, when we talk about Ndibo in particular being ancient people, and that everything that has to do with Ndibo, everything that has to do with our people, believe me, is spiritual. So some of us who were privileged to be at home, especially in the village, while growing up, we have a lot to tell because we learned a lot during our childhood days. So everything about Ndibo is spiritual. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talked about the currency, and he said the currency is going to be Ejemma. Ejemma. I don't know, because when I was growing up, I used to hear this cultural song from women of Ihiagwa. Ihiagwa is a town in Owerri, I think Owerri West local government in Imo State. So those women sang a certain song that time. Is a very popular song as at that time that we used to listen to when I was growing up. The music was always played on air, you know, on radio as at that time. So we used to dance as we listened to that song. That is a cultural music composed by this group of women. So in that song, it has to do with this same currency, this word Ejemma that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu mentioned today. That is why I am bringing this music into what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said and into Biafran currency. So for you to understand that the issue of Biafra is not something, it didn't start today. Our heritage did not start today. Just that because there wasn't history when we were growing up, there were so many things that we were not able to learn as kids growing up that time. So when he mentioned Ejemma, the currency, I quickly remembered that song, that cultural dance. I will be singing that song. Maybe you will be able to understand why I'm trying to connect it to what Mazi said today. What the women are singing in that song is that the money the money that their fathers made that time was called Ojemma, sorry. That their fathers, the money, the olden days currency, the olden days money, which their fathers made and their fathers used in marrying their mothers back then was called Ojomma. So I don't know, maybe IPOB is trying to modernize it, because what I heard back then was Ojomma. I used to hear Ojomma in that song. So I don't know if they are trying to, maybe they want to modernize it, or is a different version of the currency. So I'm going to sing that song the way I learned it. Maybe you will understand me better. So the song goes like this. Ego nanyi kpara n'ụwa mbụ, ọwa ego kirikiri. Ego nanyi kpara n'ụwa mbụ, ọwa ego kirikiri. ego akpara mbụ ego jiri lụọ ọnụ nne mụrụ anyị ni. Ego akpara mbụ ego jiri lụọ ọnụ nne mụrụ anyị ni. Igbo ji akpọ ya Ejemma, Igbo ji akpọ ya Ejemma. O were n'ahụ nna sego abala. Ọwa ozugbo mmanụ bara aba onye ọ gajirila aya nwe mba. Ego nna anyị kpara mbụ ọwa ego kirikiri. Ego nna anyị kpara n'ụlọ nne ọwa ego kirikiri. Ego akpara mbụ ego jiri lụọ ọnụ nne mụrụ anyị ni. Ego akpara mbụ ego jiri lụọ ọnụ nne mụrụ anyị ni. Igbo ji akpọ ya Ejemma, Igbo ji akpọ ya Ejemma. O were n'ahụ nna sego abala. Ọwa ozugbo mmanụ bara aba onye ọ gajirila aya nwe mba. O were ọ gajirila aya nwe mba onye ọ gajirila aya nwe mba. Ego ye ego abala. Onye nwe ego nweju kele ụwa ọ narịma. Ego ego abala. Onye nwe ego nweju ka ọnụ ama ọ narị m. Ọkwa onye nwe ego nweju kele ụwa o were mara na. Ọkwa onye nwe ego nweju kele ụwa ọ narị ma. Ego ego abala. Onye nwe ego nweju kele ụwa ọ narị ma. Onyinye Chukwu nyere onye ọbụla dị n'iche iche n'ụwa. Onyinye Chukwu nyere onye ọbụla dị n'iche iche n'ụwa. O nyere ndị eze nyekwa ndị ọmụmụ na akụnụba. O nyere ndị elu ụwa onye chi nyere ya nara n'ụwa. O were n'ahụ nna sego abala. Ọwa ozugbo mmanụ bara aba onye ọ gajirila aya nwe mba. I learned this song when I was growing up, okay? So those women are old now, and I know that some of them must have joined their ancestors because it's an old traditional cultural dance, okay? So what the meaning of the song is that the money that their fathers made during their fathers' time, the money they made was known as Ejemma. You see, so the money that their forefathers made was known as Ejemma, and it was that Ejemma that they used in marrying their mothers back then, and that God blessed people in different ways. He made some people kings, some with children, so that when people, whoever that makes money, like rich people, when someone makes money, that person is the, like your voice is kind of heard outside. You know, you are the person that will now be talking outside. And as a poor man, your voice is low, but the rich man's voice is high. That is what the song is talking about. Okay, so I don't want to go into details of that song, but I'm going to share that video. I'm going to share video of that song on my community page. Okay, you can listen to it and so that you will be able to understand the music, be it Ejemma or Ejemma. They are all the same thing, you know. Those days they use, like, is it cowries they use for buying and selling in those days. But when Biafra comes, of course, like some people we are talking, yeah, that why is it that Mazi is taking us back to ancient days? What Mazi means is that, not that we are going to use cowries as our currency, no. What it means is that the name of Biafran currency, just like you have dollar, you have your naira, right? So instead of like naira or dollar, it's going to be Ejemma or Ejemma, whichever they finally arrive at, okay? So it's all the same thing. That is what he means, and not that Biafrans are going to be using cowries. Is not what he means. Okay, because sometimes some of our people, they just like, they see things, they hear things, they just jump into conclusion, they don't sit down and kind of reason. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, and good night wherever you are. I will see you in my next video. Bye.